How did it come to be? Was it one book revealed at one go, or was it like the Bible, multiple books, multiple authors spread about in different time frames that we can trace back to and see, or were they all revealed in one time frame? How did the Quran come to be as we know it today?
Very different from the Quran. For example, the Bible was written by about 40 different authors, three different languages, three different continents over a span of 1,500 plus years, and it all pointing to Jesus. But the Quran is very different because unlike the Bible, which has there's a lot of different authors that God used to breathe through and to point to Christ. The Quran is it comes from one man. It's from Muhammad, and it was about 610 A.D. When he claimed to receive his first revelation, 610, and so there was about a 22-year period because he died in about 632 A.D. So there was about a 22-year period when he was claiming to receive these revelations from the angel Gabriel. And so it's very different from the Bible. So it's just the Quran is just from one man. It's just from Muhammad. And and what's real interesting is that when you actually look up his first revelation that came to him, and this can be found in the Hadith, is the first revelation was about 610, and when he received this revelation, he actually was disturbed, and he wasn't even convinced that it was from the Lord, and so he actually had to be convinced by his he actually had to be convinced by some relatives that his wife and cousin that what he had received was actually from the Lord, and so and then so he wasn't even convinced himself, and so like for example, you can actually look at some of the when he received these revelations according to like Sahih al-Bukhari. It says that he was actually, after he received it, he was actually going to kill himself. He was going to jump off mountains several times, and he seemed real disturbed. And so it's a real interesting story of how it all began. And so he eventually becomes convinced from some relatives, and this is recorded in the early biographies and the hadith that we've already referenced. And also if it's also posted on whowasmuhammad.org if they want to go on the website, and I list all the citations. So and I encourage everybody to, like you said earlier, to actually look at the facts and the sources, so to see that I'm not plucking anything out of context. But so so after 610 he started to claim to receive these revelations, and then he died in 632 AD, and then after he died, some of his companions eventually gathered the revelations together and eventually composed it and got it together, which under one cover. So it's very different from the Bible, and real interesting to look at the origins of the Quran and how it came about, and what Muhammad's reaction was to some of these revelations, which is really interesting, really interesting to look at.